Welcome back. Joining me now is Roy Cohen, a Wall Street expert who is a career counselor and author of the book, The Wall Street Professional's Survival Guide, Success Secrets of a Career Coach. Thanks for being here. It almost took a coach to get me through the title of your book.
It's very nice to be here, Ty.
So you're a career counselor and also an executive coach. How is that different from a headhunter, and how is that different than, let's say, picking up a book on how to land a job tips?
Well, it's not that different from picking up a book. In fact, I'm the human version, and I encourage clients who can't afford or are remotely located to read about career management. Recruiters typically will place people, but their investment is not in the individual. It's in the fee that they earn for placing those folks in a job. As a career counselor, I work with folks on figuring things out, on managing the transition if it's both involuntary or if they choose to move. And I also work with them in managing their lives at work.
Okay, so rather than just trying to place someone in a job and get a fee for that, you help people try to figure out what the best job would be for them.
My clients in large part are the individuals and occasionally their corporate organizations who will hire me to work with folks to help them maximize their performance at work.
In the recession, have you seen a lot of people want to make a complete change, having to make a complete change?
Yes, and yes. I think especially during the height of the recession, there were a lot of folks who were feeling very frustrated. Folks who had extended job search over 1 to 2.5 years, feeling very frustrated about the experience. And then others who may have been further along in their careers, feeling like it was time to make a change.
People who have been out that lengthy amount of time, 1.5 to 3 years or even more, how difficult is it for them to seek employment at the same level they were before? Are we talking about executives here?
Yes, and we're also talking about folks who just may have been caught up in the turmoil of the markets. They may have been living in Detroit, wherever they are, and it has more to do with structural changes in their industry and or company. So difficult, that's a really interesting question, and it has several layers. The reality is that folks who lost their jobs during the downturn in the markets were out, and there were no opportunities for them. So despite the fact that they may have been doing job search, nothing was happening. The market's begun to improve. Is it enough to go out and say celebrate, have a parade? No. But the fact is that a lot of clients that I'm working with are interviewing, and hopefully they'll be landing soon. What's really important to consider is if you've been out for a long time, how do you go out into the market now, not conveying that weariness, the feeling that, well, what's the point? Why should I be out in the market? Well, the point is that opportunities are opening up now.
How do you explain such a long absence? Do you have to just be frank with the employer?
Well, I think a lot of folks have been out for a very long period of time. What we need to do is show that we've used that time constructively. So if I've been out for, say, 2 or 2.5 years, maybe I took a little bit of time off to really just relax, recharge, enjoy the family. And that's not uncommon during a summer hiatus. I may have also gone back to school to secure new credentials. Or if I want to continue to do the work that I love and enjoy, maybe I've gone back to make myself even more attractive in that field. So we need to be able to discreetly explain, and I say discreetly, not confidentially, but we break down the time that we've been out so that we can show that we've used that time productively.
So it's really important to do something on some level to show that you haven't kind of been sitting around moping or.
Yes.
My next question to you is, let's say, what if someone comes to you and is an upper level management? The only thing they can find is something that with less pay and less high a title. Do you say take it just to maintain employment and to pay your bills, or is it better to kind of wait out the right opportunity?
Well, the first question is to look at their financial situation and say, are you able to hold out? If so, how much damage would this opportunity create for you in terms of your resume and how you position yourself out in the marketplace? So we have to be very practical. I can't encourage or discourage people from taking jobs. What we then do is we develop a story, a strategy for how we position it, and recognize that it may not be a permanent situation, that we have to explain it if we're going to be looking for something new, better, and better paying further out.
Okay. I'm a new client of yours. I'm 55 years old. I want to make a career change. How feasible is that?
Well, Ty, I happen to be 55 years old, so...
but you're in the same career now. You said for 20 years you've been doing this. Is it hard to make a change? Is it hard to get hired as someone new to an industry as you get older?
If you have passion, energy, and you can demonstrate that you offer solutions in a market where people are overworked and feeling great stress and pressure, they're going to want somebody who's mature and who can hit the ground running quickly.
Could you have a competitive edge over, say, the newer generation coming in, who a lot of people say may not want to work as hard, may need a lot more encouragement and reward from their employers? Is that any kind of advantage?
Well, in fact, it is. I can actually spin it positively for either a 55-year-old or a 25-year-old, and each has unique advantages and disadvantages. What's most important is to convey energy and passion and knowledge.
Now, what is the biggest mistake people make when looking for a job?
Well, a couple of mistakes. One, poor follow-up, not being prepared, not anticipating the pushback that oftentimes happens in an interview. And the worst possible mistake people make is what I would refer to as not being truthful in terms of advertising, misrepresenting information, and you dig a deeper hole for yourself when you stretch the truth a little bit.
You go for an interview, you don't hear back, or maybe you get some negative feedback. How often do you keep calling? Does persistence work, or is there sort of this fine line where you don't want to look desperate?
Well, we need to understand the protocol, the standards for the job, the company, the industry. In some industries, being persistent, if it's a sales role, for example, going back again to the mat is going to demonstrate that you really want it, that you're going to break that wall down. If you are interviewing, say, for a financial analyst role, going back and pestering somebody may just be viewed as annoying, and then you damage your reputation.
So the advantage, just very quickly, we see these books in the bookstore all the time. You yourself have written a book. The advantage to talking to a human being is, I assume you can cheer me up. What do you say to people who are really having a tough time right now?
It's a marathon. And we recognize that it's a lot of steps, and if you measure your progress by each individual step, you're going to get frustrated and exit the process. So we've got to make sure that you are fortified to conduct a job search, and one that might take many months.
Okay, well, you keep it straight. I want to thank you so much for joining us, career counselor Roy Cohen. Next, the economy may be growing slowly, but that is not stopping inflation from rising. Wait till you hear about skyrocketing prices in your everyday essentials and what you can do about it when Good Day Street Talk continues. Stay tuned.